Let's dive into the third module, Manage Security Operations. We can create and customize alerts. Log alerts allow users to use a log analytics query to evaluate resource logs, set their frequency, and fire an alert based on the results. Rules can trigger one or more actions using action groups. Alert rules are defined by three components. 1. A target, which is a specific Azure resource to monitor. 2. Criteria, logic to evaluate. If met, then alert fires. And 3rd, action, notifications or automation such as email, SMS, webhook, and so on. Note that log data from a log analytics workspace can be sent to the Azure Monitor metric store. Metric alerts have different behavior, which may be more desirable depending on the data you're working with. You can optionally customize actions in log alert rules, such as custom email subject, which overrides the email subject of email actions. You can't modify the body of the mail, and this field isn't for email addresses. Also, you can customize include custom JSON payload, which overrides the webhook JSON used by action groups, assuming the action group contains a webhook action. If you're not familiar with webhooks, it would be worth looking them up at aka.ms/Azure webhooks. Monitor security logs by using Azure Monitor. Log Analytics is a tool in the Azure portal to edit and run log queries from data collected by Azure Monitor logs and interactively analyze their results. You can use Log Analytics queries to retrieve records matching particular criteria, identify trends, analyze patterns, and provide a variety of insights into the data. You can then write queries to filter by time ranges, activity status, and more to help you analyze the results. Alternatively, you may enable and onboard data to Azure Sentinel or a third-party SIEM. If you're not familiar with Azure Sentinel, check it out at aka.ms/Azure/Sentinel to get a basic overview of its capabilities. Configure diagnostics logging and log retention. Within Azure Monitor, you can set the Log Analytics workspace retention period according to the organization's compliance regulations. Then leverage Azure storage accounts for long-term archival storage. Note that data retention can be configured from 30 to 730 days, which is about 2 years, for all workspaces unless you are using the legacy free pricing tier. When the retention is lowered, there is a several-day grace period before the data older than the new retention settings is removed. The retention can also be set via the Azure Resource Manager, or ARM, using the retention in days parameter. When you set the data retention to 30 days, you can trigger an immediate purge of older data using the immediate purge data on 30 days parameter, eliminating the several-day grace period. This may be useful for compliance-related scenarios where immediate data removal is imperative. This immediate purge functionality is only exposed via Azure Resource Manager. There are even some more details you will want to review on this final link on this slide. As mentioned in the previous slide, the Azure Security Center has a predefined set of security alerts, which are triggered when a threat or a suspicious activity takes place. In some scenarios, you may want to create a custom alert to address specific needs of your environment. These graphics show what it looks like in the portal. Custom alert rules in Security Center allow you to define new security alerts based on data that is already collected from your environment. You can create queries, and the result of these queries can be used as criteria for the custom rule, and once this criteria is matched, the rule is executed. You can use computers, security events, partners, security solutions, logs, or data ingested using APIs to create your custom queries. Monitor security by using Azure Sentinel. Configure data sources to Azure Sentinel. To onboard Azure Sentinel, you first need to enable Azure Sentinel and then connect your data sources. Azure Sentinel comes with a number of connectors for Microsoft solutions available out of the box and providing real-time integration, including Microsoft 365 Defender, formerly Microsoft Threat Protection solutions, Microsoft 365 sources, including Office 365, Azure Active Directory, Microsoft Defender for Identity, formerly Azure ATP, Microsoft Cloud App Security, Azure Defender alerts from Azure Security Center, and more. In addition, there are built-in connectors to the broader security ecosystem for non-Microsoft solutions. You can also use the Common Event Format, or CEF, syslog, or REST API to connect your data sources with Azure Sentinel. Create and customize alerts. Once you've connected your data sources to Azure Sentinel, you can create custom rules that can search for specific criteria across your environment and generate incidents when the criteria are matched so you can investigate them. Evaluate results. After you connected your data sources to Azure Sentinel, you want to be notified when something suspicious happens. To enable you to do this, Azure Sentinel lets you create advanced alert rules that generate incidents that you can assign and investigate. An incident can include multiple alerts. It's an aggregation of all of the relevant evidence for a specific investigation. An incident is created based on analytics rules that you created in the analytics page. The properties related to the alerts, such as severity and status, are set at the incident level. After you let Azure Sentinel know what kinds of threats you're looking for and how to find them, you can monitor detected threats by investigating incidents. There are a couple important things to note when doing an investigation. First, you will only be able to investigate the incident if you use the entity mapping fields when you set up your analytics rule. The investigation graph requires that your original incident include these entities. Secondly, if you have a guest user that needs to assign incidents, the user must be assigned the directory reader role in your Azure Active Directory tenant. Regular, non-guest users have this role assigned by default. Configure workflow automation by using Azure Sentinel. A security playbook is a collection of procedures that can be run from Azure Sentinel in response to an alert. A security playbook can help automate and orchestrate your response and can be run manually or set to run automatically when specific alerts are triggered. Security playbooks in Azure Sentinel are based on Azure Logic Apps, which means you get all the power, customability, and built-in templates of Logic Apps. Each playbook is created for the specific subscription you choose, but when you look at the playbooks page, you will see all the playbooks across any selected subscriptions. As you have likely noticed at the bottom of this slide, there is a tutorial for each of these topics. Even if you don't actually do these things in the portal, just even reading through these pages will enhance your learning required to possibly answer some of the questions on the exam. Just-in-time virtual machine access enables you to lock down your VMs in the network by blocking inbound traffic to specific ports. It enables you to control the access and reduce the attack surface to your VMs by allowing access only upon a specific need. Upon a user request based on Azure RBAC or role-based access control, Security Center will decide whether to grant access. If a request is approved, Security Center automatically configures the NSGs or network security groups to allow inbound traffic to these ports for the requested amount of time, after which it restores the NSGs to their previous states. A security policy defines the desired configuration of your workloads and helps ensure compliance with company or regulatory security requirements. In Azure Policy, you can define policies for your Azure subscriptions and tailor them to your type of workload or the sensitivity of your data. For example, applications that use regulated data, such as personal data or customer data, might require a higher level of security than other workloads. To set a policy across subscriptions or on management groups, set them in Azure Policy. Security policies drive the security recommendations you get in Azure Security Center. You can monitor compliance with them to help you identify potential vulnerabilities and mitigate threats. When you enable Security Center, the security policy built in to Security Center is reflected in Azure Policy as a built-in initiative under the category Security Center. The built-in initiative is automatically assigned to all Security Center registered subscriptions, free or standard tiers. The built-in initiative contains only audit policies. There are several actions that maximize the benefits of Azure Security Center provides. Performing these actions enables you to gain visibility on all the Azure subscriptions that are linked to a single Azure Active Directory tenant and effectively manage security at scale by applying security policies across multiple subscriptions in an aggregative manner. An important note, if you didn't catch it, This is across a single, not multiple, Azure Active Directory tenant. This is often the case for many Azure services.